Have you ever wondered when the right time is to build your own business and reach 500,000 users worldwide? What if I told you the answer could be as young as 17? Today, I'm sitting down with Rexan Wong, a builder who's redefining what's possible at a young age. Originally from Hong Kong and now based in San Francisco, Rexan is currently building his own startup as a co-founder. But here's what makes his story remarkable. Before 2018, he had already won five top-tier international hackathons and built multiple products that attracted over 500,000 users globally. He has become a legend in the builder community, and for good reason. In this conversation, Rexon opens up about his distribution-led approach to product development, his unique perspectives on B2B versus B2C, how he bootstrapped his way to 500,000 users, and what the founder journey has really been like for him. Let's dive in. So today we have Rexan Wong join us as a guest, to share his founding journey as a founder. So hi, Rexan. Good to have you
Hey,
here.
good to meet you. Thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah. So today maybe we can kick things off with a round of introduction. So hi everyone, I'm Dylan. I'm founder of Pond. So we are building a decentralized accelerator, helping early stage startups validate, distribute, and get community support. So right now we're focused on building Pond Bounties, which is a 0 to 1 distribution feature on the platform for consumer apps to rapidly get their first 100 users and a labor market to outsource users to do tasks such as posting user-generated content on social media and so on. So, Roxanne, now the stage is yours. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience today?
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Rexan. I'm currently 18 years old, and I'm an entrepreneur, developer, and influencer. Previously, I've won five international hackathons, and I've been building a lot of apps, like consumer apps, web apps, like AI apps, blockchain apps, and my apps are being used by 500,000 people worldwide. And through myself building these apps and doing these like development stuff, I've been sharing my journey on Twitter. So I've been like kind of documenting my journey as a kid from Hong Kong growing up, building apps, building in tech, and just sort of like documenting my journey. And through that, I built a community of 25,000 followers,
Wow.
consisting of a lot of tech people,
Uh-huh.
entrepreneurs, developers. And currently, right now, I'm in San Francisco right now. Like I'm in that stuff right now. And I'm currently building a startup with our co-founder, and
Hmm.
basically it's an AI creative intelligence platform for ad agencies. And
Yeah.
recently we got into Founders Inc., the Founders Inc. program, and we are gonna actually start the Founders Inc. tomorrow. So it's been a crazy journey. It's been a super fun journey coming from Hong Kong to that. And
Oh,
yeah, that's
wow.
just a bit about my background.
Oh, wow. So, Roxanne, how did you start? How did you
Yeah,
get everything
so
started?
it was kind of by accident because, as far as I remember, there was a coding class back when I was a freshman in high school,
Hmm.
and I didn't plan on taking that class, but a couple of my friends were taking it, so I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and take it. And in that class, it taught me how to build iOS apps like Swift, Apple apps, and I got two things out of that class. First one is I really enjoy like coding and programming and building stuff. But second
Uh-huh.
of all, it's like I really enjoy the feeling you get. You know, you spend long hours like building something, and then the next day you show it to your classmates, you show it to your teachers, and just looking at their reaction. Like, I really
Uh-huh.
like that kind of dopamine. It just made me feel like, oh, this hard work really just paid off. And I see
Yeah.
a lot of parallels between that kind of feeling and the
Hmm.
feelings where I get right now, where I'm like building these apps and sharing it in public, sharing it on Twitter, and just
Yeah.
really helps me get that feeling back. So I see a lot of
Yeah.
parallels between that. I always like to mention that.
Yeah. So, Roxanne, I feel like, building an app these days is getting easier and easier, but I think what you completely mastered is really about the distribution. Also find a problem to solve. I mean, this is something remarkable to me when I was looking into your personal website that you have built, apparently different other things. And like you said, you have won five hackathons. So you grew up in Hong Kong and now you're in SF. So how did you find a problem for you to solve? I mean, later on, how did you even distribute it? Because, for lots of developers, distribution tends to be very hard for them, but somehow you just mastered them both at once. How do you do it?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the problem first. A lot of the
Uh-huh.
problems, like it's good that you mentioned problem because all my apps in the past came from my own personal problems. So that literally answers the question. Like all these apps that come from problems, and these problems come from like your personal experiences, like through your hobbies, through things that
Hmm.
you can do. I can give you an example. For example, my most successful app was the design app called Text Behind Image. This one has over 500,000 users worldwide, and it came out. I like to tell the story. Like I was on a school bus like back in September 2024, and there's a YouTuber called Daniel Dalen. I'm sure you heard of him. You see his thumbnail. They have like a picture of himself, and they have some text behind him. So there's
Uh,
this design trend called text behind image. And then I was like, I went back home. I tried to figure out how to do it myself because I'm so bad at using these tools like Photoshop, stuff like that. I decided, hey, I'm
yeah.
gonna just build my own tool. So I used Cursor. I built it in 3 hours, and I launched it on Twitter. And I got really lucky because when I launched on Twitter, I remember the next day when I woke up, that video got like 300K views overnight. So I just
Oh wow.
continued to build on this momentum, and a lot of the distribution actually came from Twitter. So
Uh-huh.
I was really lucky because my distribution came from my personal brand, which I was building, and I was using my personal brand to kind of act like it's a launch pad to launch my app as well. So this is what
Hmm.
happened for my next couple apps. Like I just use this formula where I will build an app really fast. I will try to be scrappy with it and build an app really fast. And then I will launch it on my Twitter. It's gonna get me some initial traction and initial users as well. And then soon afterwards, I will figure out like certain distribution channels. For example, where's my ICP living in? Where's the customers living in? And I'll just go ahead and attack it with a lot of volume. I mean, a lot of people like Alex and Mosey, one of my biggest inspirations, he also says like, you gotta attack things with a lot of volume. So I just try to do that in different channels. Um, and in the current startup I'm building, which is AI creative intelligence for ad agencies, we're working a lot with organic short form content, and we're working a lot with ad agencies. So basically, a lot of like marketing tech software. And my co-founder, he himself is a big influencer in the marketing space, in the marketing and technology space as well. So he has a lot of really good connections. So I think that's
Hmm.
also one thing about the distribution is that when you have distribution baked into yourself, when you just think about when you start building a startup or product but think about distribution first and really have a lot of the puzzle piece solved. Like
Yeah.
internal distribution is super important and you're literally catering to your audience. You're literally building a product for the audience that you're serving. I think that's the real beauty of it.
Oh wow. There's a little juice in it. So thank you so much for sharing. So I wonder. So apparently, at the start, at the beginning, especially the time when you built your first ever app, you know, you found Twitter was the best distribution platform for you. So you started, posting demo videos on it. And later on, you figure out, okay, after I posted the demo videos, where my ICPs are, and later on try to find, where they are, and later on to reach them in a way.
Mhm.
Wow. So any any takeaways or any lessons you have learned? Like you feel like, oh, if I knew this, like, 1 year ago, that might be the best. I can save a lot of time and hours and things like this.
Yeah, I'll say it's good that you mentioned a year ago because it helped me really think about the lessons that I've learned over the way because I'm still learning right now. I'm still very young. I'm still very new to the space. So I'm like always learning. I still have a lot of things to learn. But in terms of
Hmm.
1 year ago, man, I learned a lot of things. I'll say the biggest thing I've learned is definitely thinking about distribution. It's very simple. Just think about distribution first before you build the product. Because the worst
Yeah.
thing you can do is like build a product use a lot of brain power to build the product, build a really nice looking product. But if you have no idea how you're gonna distribute it, how you're gonna attract a customer, reaching out to your customer, then you just really have a product with like nobody using it, and that's the worst thing you can get. I also
Yeah.
want to just mention like that's the reason why I switched from doing a lot of hackathons to building apps because in 2023 I won 5 national hackathons when I was
Hmm.
15. I was like on this streak, right? I was on this streak where I was like winning hackathon and hackathon and hackathon. And these hackathons, they taught me how to build things fast. But the bad thing, I want to say the bad thing, but the thing that it doesn't really encourage is the retention. When you finish winning a
Mm.
hackathon, the thing that you built, it's hard to get users onto it. You can just build it for the sake of the hackathon. You didn't build it for the sake of like thinking about distributions when you were building it. You didn't think about how to get your users and your customers. So
Yeah.
you'll be building these apps, these really nice looking technical apps, really super good, but you got no users. And I was pissed off by this. I was like, um, I was building all these stuff, but I wasn't getting users. I wasn't getting traction. So that was also the reason why I switched from doing hackathons to like building apps. And as a result, just like thinking about distribution from the get-go, even before you build a product, if you have a
Yeah.
distribution angle, or like a strategy, it just really helps like for your child personality.
Yeah, do you have a real example, like, to demonstrate a little bit more about the distribution first mentality that you have or the thinking process that you have? So, for example, which app that you have built in the past and later on, how the app itself has led you to think about distribution first and how you were thinking about the distribution at the time and later on distribute the product later on.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the app that actually honestly the app that really got me thinking about distribution was my second last app, which is basically an app that helps people create a very specific type of short form video. So
Hmm.
this like interestingly, me as a founder, I really like those kind of video formats. So I really like building the app, and it was only a bit later that I thought about the distribution, and I really had to spend a lot of time thinking about how was I gonna sell, like what's my wedge, who am I gonna like pitch this to, and I decided, oh, I'm gonna sell to businesses, I'm gonna sell to agencies. And then I started building the product for agencies, for businesses. So I had to like shift the product a lot. I had to shift like the product wedge, the MVP, the product market fit, kind of shift everything to cater to the kind of new niche that I'm serving my distribution for. So really it's like it taught me how to start from like really focus on the distribution from the get-go. And the product can keep changing. Like your product would always try to keep changing until you find your product market fit. But the thing that
Hmm.
stays constant is that if you have a solid distribution angle from the beginning onwards, it really helps you when you change your product, when you have like realize like you're not in like your product, you have to keep switching, you have to keep changing the features. It really helps if you have a distribution angle from the beginning onwards. So this really helped me in the beginning as well.
Yeah, is this app the Make Ad or the Brandix? Which one is it we're talking about?
That's the brand thetics one. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So do you prefer doing B2B more or you prefer doing B2C more? Which part? Because from your description just now, from your experience of building brand apparently you were trying to develop the business with agencies.
Hmm.
This part one part of the experience. So another part of the distribution that you mentioned before introducing aesthetics was you were doing viral marketing on Twitter. Just like you post a demo video and somehow the video went viral. That was the aha moment for you that you feel like, oh, I can, I am the Justin Bieber in tech right now. So which part do you like the most? Do you like, B2B business or a B2C business?
Good question. Truth is, I love both of them. Like they're both completely different games. Like
Uh-huh.
I've done B2C a lot in the past, but now I'm actually switching more towards B2B. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, it's a part that I haven't touched much in the past, but there's like different kinds of like joy that you get from doing both B2B and B2C. Um,
Hmm.
in fact, the product which I'm building right now, I'm building a basically like creative team, um, like a creative intelligence workspace
Yeah.
for marketing teams and ad agencies. And we're
Hmm.
basically, again, like we're from the name, we're selling it to businesses. So we're helping them build like a recommendation engine for organic short form content. And we're helping them build like a second brain for their organic short form content so they can use these insights and generate playbook from it to help them with their ad creative. And we're basically selling to businesses as well. So um I honestly, I like both B2C and B2B. They have different games. It's like two different paths. They both give you a lot of joy and fulfillment. Um,
Yeah.
it just depends on the product that you build, and you just like decide. You don't have to be like, oh, okay, for the next couple months, I'm gonna build B2B. Next couple months, I will build B2C. It's just really what the product really serves the best. What's the most value you can extract from it. I would say B2B is a really long term game. Where
Hmm.
B2C is like you can spin up something, doesn't matter how like crappy the app is, ship it out, if it goes viral, you made some bands. So it's more like short term focus, short term gains versus like long term gains.
Right. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So apparently you are very successful at a young age, like you mentioned, and also like you listed on multiple websites or apps or demo videos. You mentioned a lot about you are 18. Apparently it's a very young age, but you turned out to be very successful already. You know the market, you know the product, you know the business very well, and you moved from Hong Kong to building SF, which is what the best builders they are choosing to be. So have you encountered any challenges that you feel like, I was really upset about, the situation, and do you have any challenges? Apparently, you as a founder, you deal with challenges every day, but it's like whatever the challenge that you feel like it was the biggest along the way for you before.
I think the biggest challenge is whenever I had to like pivot in the product.
Hmm.
So I think it comes from the fact where, I mentioned I have this joy where like you spend a long hours building something, showing it to people, they love it,
Yep.
and all that, and it just really gives me a lot of joy. But like whenever I have to like pivot, so maybe I'm serving a different audience, or maybe there wasn't enough product market fit on the first version of the product. Whenever I have to pivot, I mean, like that's always a challenge because you spend all these past weeks building something, and then you didn't really hear that good of a feedback that you thought about, and then you have to go back to the drawing board, go back to square zero, build everything
Hmm.
again, do the entire process again. So I'd say that would be the biggest challenge. In fact, the current app I'm building right now, the current startup I'm building right now, we actually built a very similar product, but for a B2C audience, and then we beta
Hmm.
tested it with like a lot of creators and marketers, and ultimately our conclusion is like we didn't really find like enough product market fit. And then that was back in November. So me and my co-founder, we went 2 weeks back to Asia. We went to the drawing board. We thought about the product. We thought about how to improve it. And then we built a prototype in like 2 weeks. And then we applied to Founder Think and we got it. And we're going to start the program tomorrow. So we're going to really go back from square zero like the past couple months that we've been doing it. So just this kind of reset. I'll say it's
Yeah.
challenging, but it's like pretty much a lot of founders face it if you
Yeah.
care for the long-term game.
Also, at the same time, it has stops, right? It has stops in mind that, is it
So,
gonna
yeah.
work the time when yeah, that's
Mhm.
that is the painful part. Yeah, I can deeply relate with it. So
Right.
yeah, so pivots not, but the time when you decide to do a pivot, apparently, lots of people, they are scared of do so, or scared of doing so, but still they have to do it right anyway. But I just
Mhm.
wonder, so do you have a North Star? So when you are doing the pivot, um did you have a North Star to say, okay, this is the direction that we have to go? Or do you talk to the potential customers, and do you find it challenging to talk to them or to find them, to get a chance to talk to them?
Um, I'll say these customers, it
Hmm.
takes practice, to talk to them. I'll say the real challenge is like, um, asking the right questions, asking the right questions to the customer so then they may be
Hmm.
able to give you the best feedback and you may be able to extract the best insight. So it takes a lot of practice. In terms of North Star, honestly not really. Like in the past I was just building on these apps like for the love of the game. I mean, I'm in high school. I thought high school was some of the classes were kind of soul sucking. So I just wanted something to do for fun. And then this fun slowly turned into like real impact. Like I was actually building something, and then through that,
Hmm.
I kind of feel like, oh, this can be a real path for me, like being an entrepreneur and building these kind of things, and then just like going from there onwards. So yeah, I do have a North Star goal. I have goals for myself right now. It's a bit more clear, definitely, than compared from a year ago. A year ago, I was
Yeah.
doing everything for fun, and I was experimenting with a lot of things, but giving a lot of clarity. I'm just grateful, like in SF, I'm being surrounded by a lot of founders, who give
Hmm.
me a lot of good advice. I'm also surrounded by a lot of connections and founders on Twitter who have given me really good advice. So, with this clarity, I set out a lot of like North Star goals for myself, a lot of things that I want to work towards. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a lot of clarity compared to a year ago where it's just like having fun, figuring things out, and right now it's just like moving
Yeah.
in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess now you are growing super fast, right? You are growing much faster than 1 year ago because, you are solving a real problem. You are managing a business right now instead of just building an app and distribute on Twitter. I
Exactly.
guess
Like
that's the
doing it
difference.
really for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Is
Is
what
it
I
a lot of
like to call it.
stress?
Yeah. Sorry.
Is there a lot of stress for you?
Um, like I would say
Hmm.
there are pressure at times, like in terms of like meeting certain deadlines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just more that I'm grateful to be in this space, to be where I am today, to be doing the things I am today, to be working with the people I am doing today, to be able to have
Yeah.
all these skills and talents to be able to do this. I know all glory goes to God,
Uh-huh.
for all this. So I'm just more blessed than I feel like stress, and I know stress is part of the process. I've heard a lot of stories of founders who are
Yeah.
like, a lot of stories, and I'm prepared for this.
Right. Right. Wow. That's remarkable, honestly. So yeah, apparently the time when you bootstrapped, um, like the video, the viral video that they have posted, but was the second one, the third one before, sorry, after that were they also viral, or is just like the only one
Mhm.
that you posted at the first place, they hit, 300K overnight? But what about the second and third? If it wasn't as viral as the first one, then how did you deal with it? Like, how you kept
Mhm.
going to the market? How did you, keep, iterating the product,
Mhm.
iterating the distribution strategy on your site?
Man, I mean, I built a lot of products in the past,
Uh-huh.
before like the first success, and a lot of them, man, it just wasn't successful. Like I would be getting like 2-digit views on a launch video, and
Yeah.
dude, I wouldn't say there's a formula or anything. I think that the thing is just to keep going, It's like keep going, keep building because you strike gold the more times you try, right? It's like the more you try, the more volume you do, as I always say. The more you really strike gold on something. And then when you strike gold on something, it's really about like capturing the lightning in a bottle. It's like how do you make
Hmm.
use of make the most use of like you're so blessed to be received this like gift and this kind of success, and just really capturing that lightning in a bottle and just really compounding and go from there. They're really like the key skill. I've seen a lot of people who, I see people on both sides of the spectrum where I see
Yeah.
the people where they have like good success, but they don't know how to really capture and they're just like stuck there for a long period of time. Whereas some people
Yeah.
they're really good at like capturing that lightning in a bottle and just like going there and like going on to do really really great things. I've seen people on both sides of that spectrum. So I think it's just really important to keep going. You gotta keep going, and once you figure out that first thing that really goes successful, like mildly successful, it's just about how do you go on from there, how do you compound from there, and how do you build on
Uh-huh.
from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, would you call yourself an indie dev before doing your own startup? Like, is it so apparently lots of apps that you have built in the past, they were startups. But it
Hmm.
sounds like, what you are working on right now is it's a proper business right now. It's a company right now.
Yep.
So would you call yourself an indie dev before?
Oh yeah, I would definitely like an indie hacker before.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I don't like using this term like too much anymore.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't know, it just doesn't sound too serious. So right now,
Yeah.
I'll consider myself like kind of past that stage. But definitely, like that was
Yeah.
one of my
You definitely
main
have
reasons
passed.
why I started. Yeah, because like I was on
Yeah.
Twitter when I was finishing those hackathons, and I was seeing like indie hackers like Peter Levels and those kind of people, and I was like, hey, I want to be that kind of person. So that just really also helped me inspire me to really just start shipping apps and building apps. I mean, I wouldn't
Hmm.
be where I am currently. I mean, I'm still learning. I still have a long way to go right now, but I wouldn't be where I am currently without the indie hacker stage, which I think a lot of people
Yep.
have to go through. Like the
Yep.
feeling of yourself actually building something and putting it out in the public and shipping it, getting some traction, whatever it may be, big or small, just that kind of experience, it teaches me so much. And I think it's a stage which is super worthy, super uh super good for you to just like go through it, it's super valuable.
Right. Right. Do you have anything that you wanna share with other people who are just young entrepreneurs like you? But some of them, they are still learning. They haven't learned much more than you do. So they probably don't have too many things they can share. But they want to beat you. Do you have anything that you want to share with them with this
Mm.
opportunity? Yeah.
I would just say just keep going. I mean, the more you keep going, the more you learn.
Hmm.
Always think to yourself, you just got so much to learn. You're never gonna know everything. You're never
Yeah.
gonna know like certain insights until you actually try it. And even when
Hmm.
you have some kind of success, you're gonna have a lot of things thrown at you, and you gotta just keep learning. Um, I would also say, um, if you want to go into the space and just start things, like don't do it just because you just want to make like 100 band or like make a lot of money and all that. Rather just do it, as I keep saying, just do it for like you truly love this game. You truly love like building apps, building things and learning these things. So with that being said, just keep leveling yourself up in terms of knowledge. Like for me, I had to learn coding. I had to self teach myself coding by going on YouTube every single day, teaching myself for 6 hours every single day on how to learn how to code. So
Oh
just
wow.
really taking the initiative to figure out how like
Mm,
where you want to be in a couple of years, and what are
mm,
the skills that you need to take to get to that place, and just be so good at that particular skill that you're confident that you're better than 99% of people at that particular skill. And then with this knowledge, I always say knowledge really compounds. So, and just recap, just keep going, keep focusing on knowledge rather than the love of money, and just
mm.
keep trying to level yourself up and keep educating yourself as well. So, yeah, those would be my suggestions. As well as also like keep yourself surrounded around founders, around like-minded people. I mean, it's a
Yep.
bit harder, but that's really the best thing that you can really do to yourself if you want to really go big and swing big in this age.
Wow, Rexan, thank you so much for all the sharings. I have learned a lot. I believe all the audience will learn a lot from you as well. And everyone, if you wanna, follow the Rexan's founding stories, feel free to follow him on his Twitter, and I will
Thank you.
post, the link of the Twitter below this video. So yeah, everyone. So thank you so much, Rexan, for joining me today to do this podcast to share your journey and lessons along the way. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a great talk.
Right. Thank you, Rexan.